Good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live here at the Brer Group Stadium. The O's face Inform Port Vale this afternoon up in the sunny Stoke-on-Trent. And I've got a full sofa here with the four faces of Glenn Wilkie, Brendan Pitcher and Andrew Butler joining me. Welcome everyone. And as you said, Andrew, it's an Inform side, Port Vale, and it's probably going to be a tougher test than the last few games.
Yeah, really looking forward to it actually. Port Vale have won 3 in a row, 4 from League Two. Probably apart from perhaps Harrogate, who we didn't think were going to bring as stern a test as they did, and obviously they did a number on us in that game. But this is going to be a really, I think, entertaining game. Should be, both teams should be really going for it, looking to win. We're not a team that kind of goes to these sort of away games and just like looks for a draw. We're also in form as well as them. So yeah, it's a really good opportunity to kind of like, make a statement as well.
We're also unbeaten away, but Port Vale have won their last 3 and they too have only lost 2 all season.
Yeah, it is going to be tough. Like Andrew said, it 2 very good teams up the right end of the table. I'm hoping it's not an entertaining game. I'll be very happy with a 1-0 away win, which is really, really boring. That's what I want.
And what do you expect from Port Vale themselves?
They're a good side, a lot like us. They play through at the back system. They're very organised defensively. They could probably do a bit more going forward, but be a well-matched game, I think. Very even, probably like Glenn says, pretty tight. But I thought before with Orient this season, maybe we'll go away from home and keep it tight, and we haven't. So be interesting to see if Kenny does that today.
Well, let's keep our focus on the O's and let's take a look at the starting lineup that will be facing Port Vale in just under 30 minutes. In goal, number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. Number 2, Tom James, who isn't suspended, we promise. Number 3, Connor Wood. Number 5, Dan Happy. Number 9, Harry Smith. Number 11, Theo Archibald. 16, Aaron Drinnan. And the captain, 18, Darren Pratley. 19, Omar Beckles. 25, Shad Ogie. And 26, Hector Cipriano. And on the bench, it's fantastic to see Paul Smith return, alongside Reece Byrne, Craig Clay, Dan Kemp, Ruel Sotiriou, Matt Young and Anthony Papadopoulos. Now, a big one, Brendan, which we're all annoyed about maybe, is the fact that Alex Mitchell isn't in the side. He's not in the squad at all, so presume that's an injury, but he will be a miss. He's been really solid for the last few weeks.
Such a shame because he's like you say, he's been rock solid, hasn't put a foot wrong really, and they call him the robot, don't they, at the training ground, because he just gets on with it, puts his body on the line, proper old school defender. Be interesting today. You've got 2 left footers in there, and Shad Ogie and Dan Happy. Normally plays at Omar Beckles as the middle centre back. I'll be interested to see who plays on that kind of right side, because you could put Beckles out there. It's his natural foot, but that would mean probably you're losing his kind of commanding sense that he has in the centre. So I'll be interested to see who plays on that right side.
And we've already spoken about 4 fantastic centre backs. Obviously, Alex Mitchell's the one to miss out today. We've also got Adam Thompson to come back in. We also know what Ogie's capable of alongside Happy, and the quality Omar has as well. We're really strong in that department, Glenn.
Yeah, we've got good cover. Once they're all fully fit, it'll be interesting to see who gets in the starting lineup. Obviously, their performances will dictate that on the training pitch and in games, but today, like Brendan says, 2 left footers there. I can't see Beckles moving out of that middle position. I think, as is the older Ed, the bit more experience there, he can talk to the younger guys around him. They've obviously got a bit more pace than him as well. Not that he's slow, but he can talk them through a game, and he's very, very strong in that central position. I really like Dan Happy. If he does play on the right, I just want him to have a good solid game, because he got injured, he got out of the team, and then Ogie he came in and he's done very well. And Kenny Jackett said in a week how well he's done since he's come into the club. So we are very strong. We've got good strength in depth there, and it shows with the number of goals we've conceded this season. We are very strong.
And it's certainly, you feel, especially with Happy and Ogie stepping in there, they've been in and out, both of them, and they'll both be looking over their shoulder with Alex Mitchell and Adam Thompson to come in. It will be a massive case of show Kenny why they should cement their place in the team and why they shouldn't be dropped.
Yeah, totally. And we talk about this, occasionally when our squad's looking, strong. That these are really, really good problems to have. These won't be things that keeps Kenny Jackett up at night, I don't think, because he'll just be picking the players that he thinks are suited for either a particular game or the ones that he believes are the most informed or have been training the best. So these are really, really good problems to have. It's looking at this stage that we are that we will have a quite deep squad going through the season, which is exactly what we need. Looking forward to seeing when Thompson can come back in. But across the pitch, look at even Paul Smith coming back in on the bench now. That's a real boost for us. We've only seen a little bit from him this season, but it kind of it is on the similar theme. Having those sort of players on the bench will be challenging, the likes of Drin and Archibald for positions, because we haven't seen too much from him this season, and those front three are the ones that everyone's been talking about, and rightly so, for the last few weeks. But also, and it's been talked about on TV and across the league and in different media that look at our front three. But I think people have forgotten. Oh yeah, we've also got Paul Smith and Ruel Sotirio as well, that kind of will do a job for us too.
Of course, and touching on that depth you talk about, the one position where I think we all get a bit worried about the depth is right back. I think every Orient fan breathed a collective sigh of relief when they saw Tom James somehow wasn't suspended. I think there was some confusion over his bookings. He will be key for the O's, especially with no real recognised other right back in the squad. But he'll add defensively and offensively. He's a big welcome today, isn't he?
He is. It's great for him to be in the starting lineup and not be suspended like everyone thought earlier in the week. His form currently is superb. He's getting forward with the ball at feet. The amount of good quality crosses he gets in the box. Obviously, he's chipped in with a goal. His overall play, he's just got stronger and stronger as the season's gone on. If he was to be out the side, yes, it is a concern. Who do we have naturally who can slot into that sort of right wing back position? I know Clay played there early in the season, but it is a slight concern, and probably that's an area that Kenny Jackett will be talking to Martin Ling about strengthening come Christmas.
And Tom himself will probably wanting to not pick up so many yellow cards. So I think it's inevitable that he will at some point have to miss a game. It'd be very impressive for him to not pick up another booking for the rest of the season now. But that is something that I'm sure he'll be wanting to, get out of the way, that suspension, and then maybe keep that discipline a bit more tight.
Yeah, definitely. I think today might have been the worst game for him to be suspended, because Port Vale are very tough. I think it's probably our toughest game of the season so far, going away there. So for him to be back is a massive boost. But then looking ahead, you don't want to say these things tactically. I know people like Sergio Ramos at Real Madrid kind of picked up these bookings at the right time, so they didn't miss too hard a fixture. Maybe it's a case of being able to do that. I don't know if that's possible. And then going on to the season, as Glenn says, maybe you look at getting maybe another right wing back option in on loan or as cover as whatever, because once he picks up 5, you've got to be worried he might pick up 10, and that's 2 games, and 2 games towards the back end of the season when it could be crucial would be a massive blow to lose him.
It would. I absolutely love how you managed to squeeze in a Sergio Ramos, Tom James comparison there. In the midfield though, Andrew, a slight change. Hector Cipriani's come back in. He struggled to get in the side after going away on international duty, mainly because Craig Clay and Darren Pratley have done so well. Would you feel as though it all had a slightly different dimension today? Yeah,
I think so. I think Clay and Pratley together, I don't mind that pairing at all. They're both good ball winners. But I think what Hector's shown that he can do that add a bit of not so much flair. He's not like a complete flair player, but just driving the team forward that little bit more suggests that we will be going for it, and we will be going for the win. Pratley's been fantastic. I thought he was brilliant last weekend against Mansfield too. But no problems in having Hector in there. And I think it's on the same point as before. Having these people that can come in and you look at it going, yep, no, that's fine with me. Then these are good problems to have.
What can I ask a question? Clay and Hector, what do you see the difference with them? I think Hector can see that forward pass quicker than Clay. So if before the ball's even come to him, he can see where he's going to pass it, and he's one of those of just passing the ball forward as quickly as he can. Whereas Clay will hold on to it that little bit longer, but he's got that tenacious side to him that Hector hasn't. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Clay's a little bit more conservative on the ball, like you say. He'll probably look for the sideways pass a little bit more, maybe not try and break the lines, whereas I think Hector's first thought is always, let's go forward, let's try and take on a man or try and break the lines with a pass. And I think that's the difference. He's a little bit more progressive with his play, and I think that's important because Pratley is great at what he does. He kind of breaks up the play and keeps things simple, keeps things ticking over, and it's important to have kind of someone a little bit different alongside him maybe.
The system we play with those two in the midfield, Clay's tenacity is really crucial. You need, and Pratley's obviously, 36, 37. You need those legs in the midfield, especially in this system. You need two people that will win it. Do you think Hector can do that enough to match what Clay was doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think kind of on that point on Hector though as well. You see how two-footed he is. I completely agree with Glenn in terms of he's always looking for that extra passes. The way that he receives the ball, he's looking to get rid of it like in a good way as soon as possible. And you see the way that he just like shifts it onto his left foot if he's going out left, and then put it onto his right if he's going out to the right, and we'll try and swerve away from his man if he's kind of under pressure. So I think the tenacity in midfield, we benefit from probably that a little bit better with Clay in there. But do we need both him and Pratley in this game? It'll be an interesting one, because I think one of Port Vale's strengths is that they've got those three in midfield who complement each other really well. I'm a little bit concerned that we might get overrun in that bit of the park, but we'll wait and see.
I think after last week's 0-0, I think Kenny Jackett's probably looked at it and thought, how do we create more chances? How do we get forward more? Who's better suited? Is it Hector? Is it Clay? Okay, we could lose out that extra defensive midfielder. Even though Hector can do that, we know he's not just a all-out flair attack player. But I think he just gives you that extra added sort of string to your bow with going forward. And I think after last week's 0-0, I think he's probably looked at that over the week.
And having such fantastic front three with Harry Smith's ability to hold up the ball and Theo Archibald's ability to drive it up the pitch, it almost takes a bit of pressure off that two-man midfield. And them three being so good, and as you said, they'll be looking to get back in amongst goals this week. I reckon all three of them will be gutted to not score last week, Brendan.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, the attacking threat also comes with the wing-backs as well. So as you've got those two players who are going to almost sit and not be as progressive, and then you have the wing-backs pushing on, and then like you say, that front three are in electric form, apart from last weekend where things just didn't quite fall for them. But I think especially Harry Smith, I think he'll be looking league's top scorer at the minute, I believe, and he'll be looking to get back in amongst the goals today.
He certainly will be, and I'm sure Kenny will also be hoping for a few more goals for his Orient side today. Let's hear his thoughts ahead of the game.
Kenny, after a draw against Mansfield, we head to an informed Port Vale, and it will be a very tough test.
Of course, they're one of the sides that have impressed me. I thought they finished the season very strong last year, and off a 3-5-2 system, they've continued the good work and do look like one of the most promising sides in the league, definitely. Always a difficult place to go. We don't ever underestimate anybody, but I do think Port Vale are one of the sides that have coordinated well so far this season. And I'm looking forward to the game. It'll be a very big test for us.
Reflecting on September, Port Vale have had a good month, but so have we, unbeaten across that month. And you looking back on that, you must be impressed with what you've seen.
Yeah, we've had a good start to the season, and looking at where we are in the league and our performances, we do think we can grow. We've still got a lot of work to do in terms of growing, and you do need consistency as well, but our side have a good understanding. There's some cohesion there defensively and going forward, and although it was a 0-0 draw against Mansfield last week, particularly in the second half, the performance level was of a similar one that's got some wins before. Just we didn't quite have the finishes or the little bit of luck, and also I thought Mansfield really put their bodies on the line and got some fantastic blocks in, but we want to keep that performance level up if we can. We'll certainly need to if we want to be competing at this end of the table against some very good teams.
Looking ahead to the weekend, in terms of selection, we have seen Paul Smith out there training. How's he getting on?
Yeah, good, and 4 weeks training and available for Port Vale, which is good news. Taken longer than we thought and I would have wanted, but similarly, there's a lot of the season to go, and I think he'll make a big contribution for us.
Whereabouts would you see Paul slotting into your team?
Yeah, in terms of the front three positions, I think he can play any of those. And off the back of the system that we're playing at the moment, he has the flexibility and the football, and I do believe as well, once he gets going, the finishing that can make a difference for us.
And it'd be an exciting prospect, because obviously just the one game he played for him before that injury at Salford, so almost in a way like a new signing.
Yeah, it is, and as I said, it's been a frustrating one for me. I know the side's done okay, and the front players have done okay without him, but it's been a frustrating one for me because he's I think a big signing for us, and a lot of expectation, and that you can see this week Portsmouth has a lot of ability as well, and I do think for our season will contribute well.
In terms of preparation for the game as well, we know Tom James picked up his 5th yellow card for the weekend, so how have you planned for his absence?
Yeah, we have to just work away, and suspensions and injuries happen. They happen to everybody, and you have to overcome it. We're at the start of a week where we go away to Port Vale, we're away to Crawley in the EFL Cup on Tuesday night, and then Barrow next Saturday. Up there. So different types of games, but your squad, your club has to cope. You have to adapt, and with every situation, we'll make sure that we do adapt and cover that area. And as I say, it's only one game anyway.
Without looking too far ahead, obviously the 3 away games there, they build a difficult challenge, I guess, before 2 really important home games.
Yeah, they are, but they're all big games in different ways. And if you want to be successful, you have to be good enough to win away and at home. There are different types of games every week, different types of challenges. Your side has to be good enough. Your mentality has to be there, your ability has to be there, definitely. But also, you have to rise to the challenge. You have to enjoy the challenge as a player. We've had a bright start, but it doesn't give you anything of where we are at the moment. Just some promise that we can have a good season. Now we have to follow that up and actually do that and have a good season. So yes, on paper they're difficult games, but you get to the home games and I'm looking at the atmosphere of the ground is fantastic at the moment, and we will only keep that going by maintaining our form, and our performance level is the key, and we're capable of that.
In terms of that back five, that system that kind of come in after the first few games, it was a clean sheet on Monday, and how are you feeling about that defensive unit and how they're improving?
Yeah, but it's a side because we do want to press as well. It's very important from the front. We have energy to be able to press, because other than that, you can't. You're defending too much, and so it is a team unit. And as you say, probably from Newport on, we have gone into that system. But similarly, I wouldn't hesitate to change it again. It's not something that I think is set in stone. It's around the players that you have available. It's around the players that you have at your club and that are doing well. And after that, it's more about finding a balance rather than one formation. So, as you say, it has been a good unit. But for us, the important thing is staying flexible and making sure that in League Two we get our best players out on the pitch.
And just, I guess, to end on, with Shad Ogie coming back into the team last Saturday, you've been impressed from what you've seen in Shad?
Yeah, I like Shad, and right from the start of pre-season, if he could meet certain criteria, I did think he could build on a very, very solid career so far. We just turned 20, but he's played 50 games in the National League. That's good progress, I think, and good experience, and certainly stands him in good stead and makes him ready for the season ahead now. And he's got some good competition in the side, and he'll have to stay on his toes and at his very best to be able to do that. But he's a capable player, and looking forward to seeing what he produces this season.
Top stuff there from Kenny, and he certainly comes across as a winner, and you too can be a winner with the O's whilst also supporting the academy. Because, of course, don't forget you can get involved with the Leyton Orient Lotto over at www.leytonorient.com/lotto, and to help raise money for our academy whilst also winning prizes yourself. Now, Brendan, Kenny said there, which I really kind of took notice of, was he said we've still got room to grow. We still need to be consistent. We've lost one game all season. That really shows you kind of his expectations and what he wants from this side.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been looking at the numbers this week, and defensively we're excellent. Best team in the league defensively. It might not show in the goals conceded. We're kind of in and around the best team in the league, but you look at shots conceded from open play, we're far and away the best team in that ranking, and Port Vale are also up there with us, so that's going to be a tough game today. But I think defensively we're doing really well. I think in terms of, like, when we talk about XG and stuff like that, we're perhaps overperforming a little bit. We're scoring maybe more goals than probably we're expected to due to some really good finishing, so maybe we'll be looking to create a few more chances, and that might be what he's referring to. And then we've also got players to come back. You've mentioned Adam Thompson, we've got Paul Smith on the bench today. You've got people like, I read an interview with Alex Mitchell today, and he was saying that he's still not 100% fit, and that's that kind of thing. Once they kind of get in their zone and get flowing, it could be really exciting and could get even better.
I think we've Kenny saying that it's as much for our benefit though as it is for the squads as well. Him saying we've still got room to grow. Of course we have. We've drawn 4 games this season. A game like Mansfield, you want to be turning them into wins, and it's just more about not resting on your laurels. Like, there's been really positive. It's been a really positive start to the season. There's really positive noises coming out from the training camp. Harry Smith said this week about, he's been part of promotion, squads before, and this has got a similar feel. Craig Clay said the same thing like a couple of weeks ago as well. But, it's such early days in the season that, it's really nice to hear the manager being realistic and saying, no, look, we've had a good start. We're second in the league, but there is still only 3 points separating second and ninth, before today's game. So we can't be going, we've on paper we've got a really good team. We're playing really well. It's good, I think, that he's putting out this kind of this message that is saying no, this still isn't quite. We're still not quite there yet.
What I'd like to see, like you mentioned the Mansfield game, and I'm sure Kenny would love it. When we're not really at it and it doesn't go for us, we seem to be drawing games, especially away from home. Promotion winning teams, when they're not at it, they always seem to win 1-0 or sneak a win somewhere. And I think that's probably where he's looking at as well. When we're not playing as well, we still win. When we are playing well, when there's room to grow, we start going out scoring 3-4 goals a game because we've got the firepower, we've got the squad. A few additions in the winter would really boost it. But I think more so them draws, what we're getting, they're the ones where you should be just sort of coming off the pitch, sneaking a little win there. That's what I think they'll be hoping for.
Well, the O's certainly will need to be firing on all cylinders in order to pick up maximum points in Stoke-on-Trent this afternoon. But let's take a look at the starting 11 for informed Port Vale. So in goal, number 1, Lucas Coverland. Number 2, James Gibbons. Number 3, Dan Jones. 6, Nathan Smith. 7, David Worrell. 8, Ben Garrity. 9, James Wilson. 10, Tom Conlon. 13, Jamie Proctor. Number 23, Tom Pett. And 27, Lewis Cass. And on the subs bench for Port Vale, Stone, Benning, Johnson, Politic, Taylor, Amu and Lloyd. And we've discussed how good they've been so far this season, Andrew. They've had a big overhaul, and they are going to provide a tough test for the Oaks today. Who are the names that stand out for you on their team?
Yeah, Ben Garrity's been really good this season. 10 appearances, 3 goals. We need to also nullify that threat of David Worrell. He's had an interesting career. He's played midfield, played as a forward a bit, and now he's kind of been shifted out to right wing back. But his numbers have been pretty good as well. 11 appearances, 1 goal and 2 assists so far this season. I mentioned before they play this 3-5-2, and that kind of 3 in the middle could overrun our 2 in the middle. But what I'm hoping for is that our 3 up top kind of really cause their 3 at the back some real problems, because they've been good this season. They've got a really quite decent team. Throughout their team, they're pretty strong. They've got James Wilson up front, who I know we talked about him last season when he was playing for Salford. We go, oh yeah, he played for England under 21s. He played for Man United 15 times, but he's at this level now, and he's started the season okay, not fantastically though. And then Jamie Proctor's got 5 goals for them this season. So they're there for a reason, but we're there for a reason also.
And Glenn, they also play a 5 at the back, or is it a 3? I'm not sure. But how do you think that will work out with both teams going with a similar system? Do you think one of the sides will need to maybe be a little bit flexible or come up with something innovative?
I think they will be fully aware of the threat of our front 3. They'll look at that and say, like you said, everyone in the league, everyone outside the league are looking at our front 3 players, and these guys are effective. They cause teams problems. Port Vale will do the same. We're second in the league. They'll be looking up at us thinking, they're second in the league. That's their threat. What do we need to do? I fully expect one of we said 3 in the middle. I think one of them will drop deeper, just in front of their back line, just to sort of maybe shield that ball which goes into Smith and gets knocked down. I fully expect that. It's going to be a game of cat and mouse. You can have the best plans in the world, but if it's raining up there, someone slips over, score an early goal, your plans change straight away. So you've got to be very, very flexible with how you set out. I fully expect, like Brendan said, it's going to be a very, very tight game. Set pieces will be key again. and hopefully no one on the O's side does make a mistake.
And where do you think the weaknesses could be in that Port Vale side where the O's can try and get at and get some joy this afternoon?
They're pretty strong defensively like we are, and that's kind of why we think it's probably going to be a low-scoring game. So that'll be interesting. I think, like you say, the key difference between they're both 3 at the back, 5 at the back systems, but they've got 3 central midfielders, we've got 3 attackers, so we've got that extra body going forward, and perhaps that will be the difference in a tight game. Maybe that extra one man in the attack could be the difference today.
And it certainly looks quite. I'm not sure if that's the flags being waved or if that's the wind, but the umbrellas are out as well, so it's going to be wet up there. Where do you see the O's getting joy then, looking at us and looking at who will you pick out to be the star man for the O's today?
I mean, that's difficult to say. When I talked about giving their back 3 problems, what I want to see as much as we did against Mansfield, our front 3 is, it can be very, very fluid. You'll all of a sudden see Archibald, popping up in a more like a number 10 role, or sometimes even far out on the right. So if we can just cause them a few headaches of mixing up with that front 3, getting those crosses in the box. Harry Smith's been in fantastic form. It's great that we've got Tom James available. So yeah, hopefully all the ways that we have been scoring this so far this season, along that may that continue. And
we've touched on it briefly, Glenn, but Paul Smith returning to the bench, and he's someone that we know what he's capable of. We know what he's got in his locker. If we need him, it's a fantastic option to have against a Port Vale side.
Definitely, we've got some really good options on the bench today, actually, sort of in the midfield and up front. So if it's a tight game, depending on how the game's going, we could be holding on for a draw. We could be attacking them, but not unlocking their defence. So it really will vary on how the game goes, but it will be tight. I fancy us to come away with at least 1 point today.
I like the confidence, Glenn, and Brendan. Lastly, looking at the conditions, it's wet, it's windy, it's blustery. We've got the big man Harry Smith up top. We've got to make it tricky for Port Vale today.
Yeah, it could be a day where you've got to go direct and you've got to play for set pieces, and that could be the difference today, like you say.
Well, hopefully it is. Well, both sets of players are making their way out onto the pitch up at Port Vale, so it's time to pass over now to Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock. We'll see you at half-time. Come on, you O's.
And welcome to the Potteries, where for the first time this season it's feeling a little cold. It's very, very damp. I